Okay, so for this problem, we have this circuit, and we want to calculate the voltages V1 and V2 for this circuit in phasor form using the voltage divider rule. So we have to use the voltage divider rule. All right, so how can we find the voltage V1 and V2? In fact, we can actually calculate the current first and use the current time the we can say is the reactance. Okay, so to calculate for the current, first we have to find out the total impedance. So what is the total impedance? So the total impedance for this circuit, say T, will be equal to ZR plus ZL plus ZC, right? So and ZR, we know that's the resistance of the resistor. So it's 20 ohms. And ZL, L is the inductor. So ZL means you have to plus J, because ZL for inductor you have to J, use JXL. XL is 20. Okay. So maybe one more step. So it's R plus J XL minus J XC, because for capacitor you have to use a negative J. Okay, so it's equal to R is 20 ohms plus XL is 20 ohms, J 20 ohms minus XC is 40 ohms, J 40 ohms. Okay, so it's equal to 20 ohms minus J 20 ohms. Okay, so that's in the rectangular form. And if you want to convert this into polar form, then you have square root of 20 square plus negative 20 square with angle of negative 20 over 20. Okay. So you can do the calculation. It's equal to 28.28 ohms with negative 45 degrees. Okay, so that will be the total impedance. So once we have the total impedance, and based on voltage divider rule, we know that V1 will be equal to ZL times E over ZT. That's from the voltage divider rule. Okay, so so we just use those individual values. ZL we know is here. It's J 20 ohms. Which in polar form is 20 ohms with 90 degrees. That's the impedance for the inductor. Okay, and times E. E is 20 volts with 70 degrees. 20 volts with 70 degrees. That's E. And the total impedance is here, 28.28 ohm with negative 45 degrees. Okay. So you multiply 20 over 28.28, you get the amplitude. For the angle, 90 plus 70 minus negative 45. So actually it becomes 90 plus 70 plus 45. Okay. So so totally you will have 14.14 with 205 degrees. Okay, so that will be the voltage for V1 in phasor form. Okay. All right. Again, by using voltage divider rule, for V2 you have ZC times E over ZT. Okay, and ZC, you see, is negative. I mean, ZC is here, is the impedance for the capacitor. So for capacitor, the impedance is 40 ohms with negative 90 degrees, right? And times E is 20 volts with 70 degrees over ZT is 28.28 ohms with negative 45 degrees. Okay. Again, negative 90 plus 70 plus 45, because it's minus negative 45 becomes a plus 45. That will be the angle, and then 40 times 20 over 28.28. That will be the amplitude. So you have 28.28 with angle of 25 degrees. Okay.